Hello, everyone. We're here at OFF Festival in Barcelona. Welcome. I'm your host, Christine Arth, and this is Jake Ferguson.
Hello.
He's joining us today from Los Angeles, all the way in, but enjoying Barcelona for almost a week now.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. So, Jake, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I mean, I started as a fine artist in Louisiana, and I worked in New Orleans for quite a while. I was a tattoo artist. I was a painter,
So you can
artist.
show those sleeves, everybody.
Yeah,
Did you do your own sleeves?
No,
Okay.
I would never. No, I would never. But yeah, you know, it's like I never touched digital art for a long time, probably until about 2012, and
Wow.
it just completely expanded my my perception of art in general. You know, and it let me create things that I never thought were possible. And
Amazing.
It's been great since then.
I noticed on your website you say that you're a generalist or a generalism direction.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I practice a lot of direction, you know, but I also do a little bit of technical direction. You know, I'm very familiar with 3D and compositing, so I'm able to not only artistically direct in a way that, you know, will get the concept and designs across, but also, you know, be able to suggest good pipeline methods and a good way of managing artists and delegating different technical artists.
I like that. You're like, look, I'm a jack of all trades. I can do it all, guys. And I'm like,
Master of none.
and I can tattoo you too. You're like, if the project doesn't work out, we'll just get a tattoo of it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a really exciting show right now. What we're going to be doing is looking through some of Jake's work. And not to mention, you did do the titles for OFF this year, didn't you?
Yeah,
we can't show you because it's a surprise.
Yeah.
But that's pretty exciting. If you're here joining us, then you'll get to see it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Awesome. So that's pretty awesome. How was that process, by the way?
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah?
The company that I used to work for, Imaginary Forces, I was there for about 2 years, and they were originally awarded the titles, and they realized that they couldn't do it because of other projects, and they just didn't have the time to be able to put into it.
Wow, yeah.
And so they called me immediately afterwards, and they're like, "Can you take this over?" And
You're like, yes, I can.
well, no, everything in my head, I'm like, "Don't do this. It's gonna be
Yeah, you're
crazy.
like,
You're gonna
"Don't do
pay
it."
for it with your hairline. Like it's gonna be wild." So, but that was also 2.5 months ago.
Oh my gosh.
So like we knew, like, because of the prestige of the conference and everything and how good all the titles usually are, it's like we have to really sprint to get this done.
Yeah.
And
the chat's like, Imaginary Forces. That's impressive. That's right. Jake's stealing work from his old company.
No, it was about the best gift that they could have given me, but it's been a
Amazing.
crazy 2 months.
Oh, that's so cool. All right, well, let's take a look at your work.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
for those of you who are just joining, we're going to do portfolio reviews at the half hour. So get excited. We have someone here in person, and we're going to do one online. So let's go over to your screen.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, let's scroll down. I'm really curious as to what your favorite project is, I would say.
I mean,
so different. And
yeah,
so wild.
to me they all kind of look the same, but you know, it's like I only like a project about at 2 points, like right in the middle when I see it coming together,
Yeah.
and then right when it's done, and then every time after that, it's like it could have been better, you know. So it's kind of hard for me to pick a favorite, but
Well, I was looking at these MTV ones because I was a huge fan of MTV, obviously,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "That's so rad."
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
So, which one do you want to talk about first? Because I want to talk about all of them.
we can let's see, let's talk about Counterpart.
Nice.
Counterpart was cool. It was a Stars title sequence that was actually completed at Imaginary Forces, and we had an incredibly small team. You know, we had this amazing creative director, Karen Fong. We had a producer, Maggie Robinson, the editor, Zach Kilroy.
Amazing.
This awesome designer named Philippe, 2 interns, and a flame artist. You know, and myself.
Gotta have a flame artist.
Yeah,
I feel
of
like that's
course.
the only way to get things done
Yeah,
these
and-
days is flame.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's just my favorite thing to do. It just ties a bow at the very end.
Totally.
But it was cool. You know, it was very low budget, and it was hard to find a lot of resources within the companies to put this together. And we had a lot of time. You know, we had about a year to do this, but because it was so short budget, a lot of us had to work in weekends and off hours. But we were so obsessed with the show and the concept that everybody really just put in the hours to get it right. You know, and
This is amazing. So, how many locations is a shoot like this? Like, how many locations did you end up?
what do you mean?
Like, there's so many different perspectives and spaces that you had shot and gone into and like created.
Yeah. I mean, we had like a 2-day shoot where we did a lot of macro photography of a lot of props on set, but that was about 30% of this, and then the other 70% is all CG.
Wow.
And I had to do all the CG. So like they didn't really know how to handle such a big job with one person.
Yeah,
you know?
It's incredibly complex.
I asked them to bring on one intern for it, and I asked them to rent us 2 machines and get us Octane rendered.
Wow.
And I told them, like, we can get this done on our own. We just need to have like the machines for it, but the 2 of us can get it done. And you know, like a lot of studios aren't used to how like single freelancers can operate like this. I mean, this isn't an unheard of process. There's plenty of people that do this, but when you tell a studio it's like, oh, I only need one artist to do a 90-second 4K spot, you know, they get kind of wary about it. I'm like, no, relax, just trust me.
I'm
like,
good, I'm good.
We'll do it. It's fine.
This is amazing. Yes, Ricardo is online right now, and he's like super
awesome.
agreed. And then Yuri's saying she's watched this so many times with Karen Fong winning the AIGA 2018.
Yeah. Karen's amazing. She was a mentor of mine for a year or two. And
amazing.
She's just incredible. She taught me so much about everything.
So Ishan's saying, like, he's really interested in what you do. Mm-hmm. How could he embark on a career path like yours? Like, what do you think is some of the tips you would give to someone starting out in CG and in title sequences?
Don't sleep.
Don't sleep?
Don't sleep.
There you go.
Prepare to commit 120 hours to it a week. You know,
wow.
It's like at least 12 hours a day. Just getting used to it. You know, it's like
insane.
I typically give myself Friday nights. You know,
could there be a better mentor? I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Karen's a saint. But yeah, it really it's time. You know, it just takes the time, and you could spread it out over a couple years and do a few things here and there, or you could just fully commit to it and just get into it. Because I mean, it's like the more time you put in the beginning, the more of a kickstart you give yourself when you start acting professionally. You know, and you start getting in there and like really being able to execute stuff. And I mean, the work ethic, it shines for a lot of people. Like when they're able to see that when they give somebody a project and they know that that person's not going to stop until it's perfect, and they're not going to deliver until it's excellent. You know, it's a lot of security.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, we were really inspired by Louis Kahn and his very like brutalist architecture.
Yeah,
I mean, he uses these beautiful materials and everything, but it looks
never ending.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like infinity and beyond. Yeah, you just don't know where it's going to stop, and it's kind of haunting in that way.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, one of the pieces that got me into CG to begin with is Alex Roman's piece, The Fifth and the Seventh. And that explored one of Louis Kahn's libraries, and it's just this beautiful, endless type of architecture that, like, in person, it's so striking. But we were hoping to really capture the surrealism of it and be able to. Yeah,
that frame alone is just incredibly haunting.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But this was a frame that was come up by Philippe. I can never pronounce his name correctly, so I feel bad
trying. I
trying.
saw it written in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's up here. Let me see. Where is it? Philippe. Carvalho? I sound like an idiot trying to pronounce his name. Carvalho. There we go.
Yes.
No, he's incredible. Yeah,
he's really good at names.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. You're saving me here. But
amazing.
Yeah, and I originally, you know, it's like the show. Like, I'll just give a brief synopsis of the show, that it's about 2 split worlds, like parallel dimensions. But when they split, there was kind of a butterfly effect. So even though they're completely parallel and everybody has a copy of themselves in each side is very different. So we used the game of Go as a visual metaphor of that, you know, to show the opposition, but also to show the duality. And
it's kind of like Battleship 2 from above. It's very cool. It's like,
exactly. Yeah, and I mean, just doing the animation for that, and I mean, this took weeks and weeks to develop. Like how we can invisibly do this and still have it look natural, you know, and just for those few seconds, you know, it's like we knew it was a critical moment, so we wanted to spend the time on it.
Incredible. Well, someone in chat, Nathan's actually asking, can we look at a project called Aris?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Aris while we load this up.
The biggest influence for me for all art is mythology. I'm obsessed with Greek, Norse, Hindu, like all kinds of mythology, Egyptian. And one of my favorite things to do is to put my own twist on the different deities. You know, I haven't released like all the ones that I want to, but the ones that I have released, you know, it's like these are some of the ones that I actually like. And I really like, this is Ares.
This is incredible.
He's the god of war. And I wanted to put this kind of futurist, like biomechanic twist, but also this like very brutal, like hellish nature to, you know, the god of war and violence. you know.
And it feels like volcanic ash. In
yeah,
his face,
exactly.
or
Yeah,
if
I
it's gonna
wanted to
break
take away a
apart.
little bit of the humanism and
Yeah.
put sort of this primordial, like, fiery energy, you know, because he's a god of war. He's got a lot of rage.
Completely.
It's like he should be influenced by a specific element.
Yeah.
You know, and I also just love fire. I
Everyone's
love,
like, God of War.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. So
Amazing.
yeah, Aries was fun.
So cool.
It took a while, you know. It's like I go into a lot of pieces sometimes with very clear ideas, but this is
Mm-hmm.
one that I improvised very heavily. You know, it's like the whole
Oh,
time.
wow. The process is really interesting.
Yeah, the
to
whole
see.
time I was going through this, I didn't know where it was going. I'm like, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep messing with stuff, and it took me weeks to finish this. But you know, it's just part of it, and
Was
it's
this for you, or was
Yeah,
it for,
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
amazing.
just
See,
do
again,
this on
like
the side.
personal projects are what really, I think, helps people to express their pure talent.
Absolutely,
And then
yeah.
that's how you get the clients that,
Right,
you know,
no.
are interested in what you do, because it's not like a replication of
Yeah,
anything else. It's
yeah.
purely from your mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which
I mean,
is so great.
A majority of my work on my portfolio
Yeah.
is personal work, and
Yeah.
I heavily believe that if you can divorce yourself from a client and develop your own style, and
Totally.
then show that and be like, this is what I can do, people will start coming to you for your
For your
style,
style,
as opposed to
exactly.
can you fit into
Yeah,
this
it's
thing
like,
that
can
we
you look
decided.
like someone else? You're
exactly.
like, I don't want to look
Yeah,
like someone
yeah,
else.
exactly.
I'm me.
Right, and I think that's like the fine artsy side of me talking. but,
Totally.
yeah.
I think it's great. Oh man, yours like, holy smokes. It's amazing.
yeah, and I
I
mean,
totally agree. Walter, Yuri, Ricardo, everyone's like, this is so good.
oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, and Ricardo has a great question, actually.
Yeah.
Were the particles done in CG or added in Photoshop?
They were all added in Photoshop. So for me,
Nice.
I
It's like a hybrid between the two?
Yeah, I mean, it's speed for me. It's never
Yeah.
necessarily integrity. If I can get my vision and my idea out
Uh-huh.
as soon as I can, then it saves it for me. If I spend too long on something, I get bored of it, I throw it away. I have graveyards of hundreds of projects that
Totally.
will never get finished. And so, I mean, typically, like, my process is I'll do everything in CG. I'll get my materials exactly like I want them, and this is the raw render coming out of CG. So this
Wow.
has no grade or color correction.
Wow.
And then what I'll do is I'll
The
take
shading and lighting is
thanks.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can thank
That's
the
one of
render
the
for that.
hardest parts, I think, to get
Yeah, I mean,
to make something look realistic.
to a degree, you know, it's like it depends on the software that you use. Like I use Octane for everything, and
Okay.
it just out of the box looks photoreal.
Yeah.
So like I fell in love with it as soon as I used it. But
You're like, I love this.
yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I just need to put it there and light
Yeah.
it, and it's done.
So
And
good.
So typically what I do is I'll render it out like this, and then I'll take all of my separate light passes and I'll rope them off and I'll tint them and I'll like change the curves, and I'll start to actually shape the piece with the lighting. I'll mask all the lighting off, and then I'll brush on only where I want the light to hit in the most interesting areas, and then everything else I kind of leave out of focus just to draw the
Really
attention.
beautiful.
And then I'll go in and add effects, and I'll do all the Photoshop effects and everything, and then I'll do
I mean, it's
a
beautiful
final
for
grade.
how scary it is. It's beautiful.
Thank you,
I'm
thank
like,
you.
It's really beautiful, but I'm scared.
Oh, I appreciate it.
There's a couple good questions in the
Yeah.
chat right now. So Nathan is asking, what inspired you when you were younger to pursue this career?
Movies, film.
Movies
Yeah,
and film.
absolutely.
And then
yeah.
that leads into Ashan's question. Do you ever see yourself working on a bigger project, say a movie?
I fear features, actually.
Really?
I would do conceptual work for a feature, but features scare me just because they're
The
such a
length?
long process,
Yes.
and if it sucks, then people will be like, what'd you do with the last 2 years? And
You're
be like,
this.
nothing, don't
You're
worry
like, I
about
did
it.
something that sucks.
Yeah, but I really love short format. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I love short format music videos and commercial, and something that you can quickly turn around like
Yeah.
in a matter of weeks. I'm also very ADD, so if I'm
think
on
a lot of
anything for
artists
too
are like,
long,
"Oh,
I get
me
really
too."
bored. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like to hop around on a bunch of short format things. And,
Amazing. Yeah, I could totally see that based on your comments earlier. You're like, I have graveyards of projects.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm good.
Yeah.
I could see the people on the feature film being like, where is he? And you'd be like, I'm done. I retired this project.
Yeah.
So these are amazing. I'd love to look at something that's completely different.
Sure.
That is your choice.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my work is my taste. So again, I still think it
no.
all
I mean,
looks
like,
very similar.
Well, yeah, but like even something like this, it's so
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. This was done a long time ago, and this is all very, very
let's look at it
abstract
then.
stuff. And
Totally.
It was
You're
a.
like, this was from forever ago.
Yeah, this was for SciArc. It's the architecture school in Los Angeles.
Amazing.
And they have a very fine arts mentality about their work. You know?
Yes.
So a lot of what we did was this very abstract representation, and this is almost supposed to be a film that They can show to people to recruit them. They can explain it to parents, like just how weird it is.
Prospective donors.
Yeah, and I mean, like some
partners.
of this is some of the student work. So I mean, I hate to say it, but like the stuff that's not rendered very well is the student work. But still, like you can see what they make, and
it's so cool though.
It's incredible to start to think about like what kind of very weird fine artsy buildings they make, and it's incredible. You know, it's like I visited the campus before, and I can tell that they work hard because every couch you pass has like sleeping people on it with like black turtlenecks and glasses.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, yes, okay.
You're like, oh right, all the other designers, where are they? They're sleeping in the hall because they've been here for weeks.
Yeah, getting like a 30-minute nap before the next class.
Totally.
But
it's really interesting though to see the texture and to you have
it
the
was
overlay.
It was a very interesting piece.
This is wild.
Yeah, and again, it's like this was all just very weird, you know. And the president of the college, Hernan Diaz, he has very good taste with this kind of stuff, and he's really interested in this kind of like very
nothing
weird
better than a client with good taste.
Yeah, I mean, when we pitched this, we knew what he was like relatively, so we filled a room that was probably like a 12-foot cube. Like we filled it with style frames. We made hundreds and hundreds of style frames. Like we would have to bust out like 5 a day. Just these like square format, like really quick CG. Like as long as it looks weird, it's going on the wall.
And how long would you prefer to take on a style frame?
Oh, 3 days.
3 days, okay.
Yeah,
Not one day?
No. Yeah. I like 3 days, yeah, because I mean, that gives me time to make it, and then another day to look at it, and then a day for feedback.
Yeah,
you know,
perfect.
I think that's really important. And I mean, a lot of this stuff was very heavily inspired from other artists, you know.
Yeah.
And we were able to, you know, this was just like a almost student recruitment video, you know? So it's like we wanted to show.
Super cool. It makes me interested. I'm like, like things like this where you're really able to look at a different perspective, and that could be something like as macro as a fingerprint, you know, like we don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, what's kind of cool about this is like we didn't spend too much time on refinement, which usually drives me crazy, but I mean, the whole concept of this was to be very raw and rough and just to get through it, you know, and to be able to just like almost like the first thing that comes to mind, it's like done, that's it. You know, it's like improvisation, which is completely different from everything else. And I mean, this isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea, but like I can appreciate it because of how raw the production was.
Well, it's kind of fun to look at something that you think is of your past, but it still feels very relevant to the present.
Yeah, it's like philosophically, it's cooler than it is artistically.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah, I guess something also different is this Story of Us main title.
Nice.
And this was pretty interesting. It was all done in After Effects. I mean, I do a ton of 3D work, but one of my favorite programs is After Effects.
Yeah.
And a lot of this was done by my good friend Gabe Perez, and he's actually here. He's one of the art directors on the main title with me.
Oh, David Perez.
Yeah, Gabriel Perez.
Gabriel Perez.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And it's very short, but I mean, it was really important to a lot of us, you know, because like this show highlights a lot of areas around the world that people wouldn't never see like the raw parts of necessarily, and they could see a lot of the
don't quite understand the strife that's going on in other areas.
Yeah, no, it's pretty great, you know.
It's really nice.
And it's from Nat Geo, you know. Nat Geo is like a good client that I've done a bit of work with.
Did you get to travel for it, or was that mainly Gabriel's portion?
No, they delivered us a lot of the material and everything,
yeah.
So they're just like put it together in a cool way. So collage work isn't something I normally do, so being able to do something that's collage was fun, you know.
So Ricardo's curious, preferred tools along with Octane.
Oh, ZBrush is a huge must for me. I use ZBrush all the time. Photoshop.
Awesome.
After Effects. I used to use Nuke. It was overkill for what I like to do. You know, it's like I do animate, you know, when people ask me to, but I prefer not to. And I don't prefer to be in a heavy pipeline situation. So it's a bit overkill. Everything I can get done in After Effects is fine. But yeah, those are mostly my main three is C4D with Octane, ZBrush, and After Effects.
Yeah, I'm really curious about your look frames. You
want
to walk us through some of these?
Sure, yeah. I mean,
it's interesting to see the process of...
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these are it's just personal work, you know. It's again, this is another mythology piece. This is Minerva.
Amazing.
And I did 2 versions of her. I did the close-up on her face, and then I did the full body here. And there's a fine artist that
really
I got in touch with, and she did these beautiful sculptures of poses, and I asked her if I could use one of her poses, and she was totally into it because I did something completely different with it, and I was able to show her, and she's like, this is great. like we should definitely collaborate. And I mean, of course, I look at it and it's like it could be much better. But still, it's like these.
So humble, so humble. You're like, it could be better. I'm like, it's great.
but I mean, it's like these are quick too. It's like if I know what I'm doing, I can do something like this took 2 days. And then this was an additional day.
Oh my
and
goodness.
A lot of it was done in Illustrator, and it's like if I can figure out a way to create a piece that I can modularly use throughout the rest of it. I started the face, and then I went to the body, and then I finished the face, but this pattern on her face, I actually pushed around her whole body.
Wow.
Like it's the exact same pattern, but because of the scale difference and everything else, and that was done in Illustrator, so it could vectorize, and I could put it on the inner thigh, and I could map it wherever I need to.
Yes.
That's another software package I use is Substance Designer and Substance Painter. They're great. They're really easy because you can bring in a model, you can paint right on top of it, and then you can just kind of live link it to whatever you're using.
It's so wild. I think it's interesting how many different programs that you're using to complete something, because it is so complex looking and there's so much depth that you need multiple in order to get that kind of realistic effect.
Yeah, and I mean the medium to me, it comes almost secondary. It's like it's the message that's important, which is ironic because that's the actual whole concept behind our main title.
Right.
It's not only the mythology, it's about Gemini, Greek twins, and one of them represents the medium, which is whatever tools are being made. So in which case we're exploring all the history of human media. We start with the letterpress, then we go into broadcast, then we're in internet and AI. And then the other sister, the immortal sister, she represents the message, the human creativity and the ingenuity that never dies. And the medium, it's just, it's a form of executing it, So I never get too hung up on the tools. I never claim to be a specialist of anything because I don't think about it. It's like I grab different programs like you would grab different paintbrushes or different colors. It's like,
you're like, oh, this one might work.
Yeah, if it gets it done, it gets it done. And it doesn't necessarily matter if it's the right way to do it. It's
incredible.
It's just how you can get it done, and
wow.
Yeah, it's another mythology.
I really want to see a video of like you working from start to finish. Like,
I've never recorded one before.
Yeah, you have to do that. I think, I don't know, chat. What do you guys think? I feel like it'd be so cool to see like a stop motion or some sort of like accelerated animation to show like from the very beginning if it took you 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how wild to really just see the intricacies and also I'm sure there's a lot of key commands floating around.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's good.
See, they're all like, heck yeah, I'd definitely watch that. I'd watch it too. Yeah, see, Melissa's like, I was just thinking that. Yeah. Everyone's like, yes, please show us a video of yourself watching for 24 hours. You could put a live feed. I feel like that's like what Sagmeister and Walsh have in their office. Just put that in yours. Everyone wants to see what you're up to.
But going back to the speed thing, it's like I believe in being able to be as iterative as possible, as quick as you can, so I don't like to get hung up too much on technique. As much as I do like the technical process, I don't necessarily get too overly involved. I always try to make sure that the artistic is far more prevalent than any kind of technical. So all of this, it's like this took me a night and then a morning afterwards. So like maybe like 12 hours straight.
Yeah, this is just incredible.
But that
detail
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like
body of
that
work.
intricacy. It's like this all comes from pre-made models that I was able to acquire. It's like I have a whole library of different little pieces. It's like car parts and like all kinds of kit bash kits from
completely. Are you a car guy?
No,
okay.
no. But
I'm like, that would so make sense right now. You're like, it's just like putting together an engine.
Yeah, but I mean,
like, it kind of is.
That's how I look like at a lot of things. It's like I'll lay out all of my parts and I'll put my piece in the middle and I'll just start dragging stuff in. It's like, no, that doesn't work. I'll toss it. I'll bring more things in. But
yeah, I feel like it's similar with design in that way.
Exactly.
Not like just for this, because you'll put it out on your artboard and you're like, okay, I've got my type, my color palette, all of the things I need to say, all of the stuff I need to do, and then you're like, let's apply. Yeah.
And I hang out with a lot of game artists, and game artists have the mentality that in order to have a really good reputation, you need to be able to make everything from scratch. And I respect the hell out of that. That's incredible, and that's beyond me. And I will freely admit that is beyond me. So I'm not actually going to...
I think that's a certain type of artist and designer. And I think that everybody has their own creativity and their own flow to get what they need to deliver.
Exactly, yeah. But I never want to let a lack of technique stop me from creating something that's in my head. It's like I'll never let it stop me from getting the vision out, no matter what I have to do for it.
So Ricardo's curious, when you're doing your layouts, Does it happen on paper, or do you go straight to digital?
Yeah. I'm a terrible hand drawer.
Really? So you go straight to computer?
No. I still do it on paper.
Oh,
it's
really?
just like stick figures.
Yeah, but it gives you the idea.
Right, but because like I'm familiar enough with 3D that like even my stick figures I can figure out a focal length. I can figure out a composition. You know, it's like I'll even just draw abstract blobs just to know what area of the composition I want to activate and how I want the eye flow to work. That doesn't always happen, but I mean, like sometimes I'll just like jump into 3D and just like start figuring it out. But you know, when I come into it with a plan, it's a lot faster.
So even sketches for something like this?
Yeah. I think let's see.
Wow, these are just incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's just whatever.
It's insane.
Comes to mind.
I like the use of like stone. Effects,
yeah, I love stone.
A lot of stone.
I really love stone. I'm obsessed with history. You know, so if I can, evoke some sort of ancient feeling from it, and like some kind of lore behind it, it keeps me interested,
Yeah. Well, it's like mystery.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, these are getting really old.
You're like, that's too old. Everybody, you can't see that. Yeah. By the way, you guys can look at all of it on his portfolio. Yes, it is jferguson.tv. So just go ahead and look at all the old stuff.
I think I have by all means.
You're like, thanks a lot, by the way. And I'm like, well, you left it up on your site. It's your own fault.
Yeah, I thought I had a doodle for this one.
A doodle?
Yeah,
nice.
like I do these like
You're like,
really
no, it's really a doodle.
rough,
it's like,
no, they're really bad, but it lets me lay it out so I know exactly where I want to map
Tim Modest is like, too old. Yeah. He's like, they're awesome. Amazing.
Yeah.
So we are just about at time to bring on our first guest for portfolio.
Great.
But I think I want to look at one more project just before we pull him on.
Anything you want. Is anything catching your eye?
Yeah, this has caught my eye a couple of times, the catfish.
Catfish.
Yeah.
This was fun. This was a few days before Christmas.
Ooh.
And they're like, MTV is actually a running client of mine. I've been associated with Viacom for the last 2.5 years or so.
That's so cool.
And yeah, they're great. I love working with them. They're really easy to work with, and they trust me enough to know they're like, well, here's loosely what we want. This is our concept. Just help us get it done.
Yeah.
And it's great, because they're located in New York. I'm in LA, and they trust me enough to be able to handle their content without the use of the rest of a pipeline.
It's probably because you're just all right.
Yeah. I guess so. I think they just like me.
Yeah, right. They're like, they just like me. They don't even care about my work.
So the concept behind this is they wanted to show the host of the show, going through everything, and they wanted to show that there could be a different intention behind them. And I mean, this was, we had like 4 days to do this, so we needed like a cheap, quick, gimmicky way to do it. And I mean, it's like, it's been overused, but let's do glitchy things, It's like, let's go and shoot a bunch of extras. And
I saw this on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, what?
Yeah, and we just wanted to like...
Very sci-fi.
Yeah, and show that people aren't always exactly who they seem to be, It's
completely.
like in having this kind of like weird Frankenstein language, we can show all these different influences from people and exactly how they can just be somebody that they're absolutely not.
Yes. Everyone's like, I love it, and Lost in Space. And I'm like, yes, Lost in Space, great reference. It's very cool. It's so like creepy.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we wanted it to still like be beautiful, but like have this very creepy vibe.
Yeah, well, you chose really good
it's
models
funny that
and
they
actors
should say
for
Lost
it.
in
It's
Space.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we are just about ready, I think, to do portfolio review.
Cool.
So
that sounds good.
We're gonna swing in and have somebody come in here.
So,
hello, we are back. We are at Off Barcelona 2018, and we are here with Flo.
Nice to meet you.
But he says it's actually Florent.
Flo, hello, I'm Flo is my nickname. So
I love it. So we're here and we're going to review Flo's book, and tell us a little bit about what you do and your background.
Okay, so I'm a graphic designer first, and then now I'm a motion designer, and I'm trying to be a title designer.
Oh, cool.
Amazing.
Because I'm doing a lot of motion design for clients and agencies, and now I want to switch in the movie scene maybe, or the festivals scene, like we are today.
So good.
Yeah. So on my website, I put two different pages. There is title design and motion design, but maybe one day I will only have the title design page.
Yeah.
Love it.
I hope.
So where should we start? I'm gonna let you pick the first one.
The first one would be the demo reel.
This one?
Yeah, this one.
All right.
So it's quick and with sound. I don't know if
I don't know if we will hear the sound, but I think they will hear the sound.
So is this a shared demo reel? Is this your motion design and title design?
Just title design.
Just title design. Okay.
But that's wrong.
It might just be taking a second to load. Yeah. But give us a little bit of background on it.
Yeah. So it gathers the work that I've done for different. Yeah.
There we go.
For different festivals and. Yeah, let's watch it.
Again. Cool.
So yeah, with the sound.
So where did you get a lot of the imagery from? It's really interesting.
So it's a mix between real pictures and some pictures are 2D, some in After Effects. It's in loop.
Yeah,
in loop,
looping.
So
okay. Super cool.
So yeah, if you want, you can watch some of them.
Yeah,
so
lots.
Let's go back to title design. And then, so the last one, the last I've done is for the BAM Festival.
Super cool.
Yeah, in Belgium. So maybe, and this one was made in one weekend and then one night.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
With a friend, Orlando.
It's like you're already taking the advice, never sleep.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Actually,
really impressive.
Actually, the night before the festival, I was still doing the editing and the 2D striking.
What is the BUMP Festival?
BUMP Festival is like a little off.
Oh, cool.
In Belgium.
Nice.
So yeah, I say hi to them.
Very cool. Hi, Belgium.
In June.
Hey, everybody. Yeah.
So yeah, and actually they didn't know I was doing the title. Because I met them in OFF the year before that, and I proposed to them to make the title. And we said yes, they said yes, and then we forgot about it.
Amazing.
And then the night before I said, okay, I might have something for you. I just have to work a little bit again.
You're like, just maybe I might have something for you.
Yeah, so
it's really great.
It's really
so
cool.
This is a aluminium
foil.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with lights and
very wild.
Yeah, I mean the thing that I can see the most about this is that it's very smart. You know, it's like you knew how much time you had to do it, and you were able to come up with an interesting way that you knew you could execute it without falling short and being able to keep it consistent the entire time. You know, and I think that's incredible. And putting intelligence behind your work. And can we actually play it again?
Yeah.
And being able to, think of everything as a whole as opposed to piece by piece by piece, and working like in that big of broad strokes, like that's key, especially when you're on such a tight deadline, which title design typically is. I think your lighting is incredible. I think what camera did you use for this?
Canon 5D.
Wow. That's
Super.
awesome. I mean, it's amazing like how filmic and like it's very cinematic for foil.
Yeah.
And a 5D. Like it's
colors.
Really beautiful work,
They're
man.
So cool.
My only critique for it would be the typography. Typically in title design, it's good to think about the type as it's crazy, but to think of it as 50%. It's a title, and so the actual point of it is to represent the type. And I mean, typically like titles do very simple type. But that's the whole point of the sequence, is to house the type. So thinking of the type thematically and being able to tie it in cohesively is pretty quintessential for being able to have a fully tied up piece. And the only difference that I would make here would be you have a bunch of really great faceted geometric shapes in your footage, and if there would be a way to bring on the type like in that kind of geometric format, it would tie it all in a little bit better, as opposed to feeling like something a little bit random. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's beautiful. And I mean, considering the amount of time that you had to do it, it's absolutely striking.
Really cool. Yeah. People are like, well said, Jake. An amazing colors flow. This is so awesome.
Thank you.
Everybody's loving it.
So I have to say, this is a little story around it.
Oh,
great.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love the background.
So this is the guy on the back are the guys from the BAM Festival when we met right here at the OFF.
And then this happened?
Yeah. So this is me, I'm
I love it. You're like, I'm way back there. This is great.
And then this was the idea. I was passing by.
And that was the idea.
Yeah, I see this.
This is great.
You have to
And
try
was,
this.
yeah. So
I love this.
I
No,
tried
this
it,
is great.
We tried different things.
So
It was
funny.
not working.
Awesome. You're
I love
tying this up
seeing
so well.
Yeah, the background of it in
So
the process.
this is Orlando.
Oh, it's like, hey.
Yeah, this is a.
You
yeah.
want to? Okay, sure.
No, this is great.
What's this?
This is just the moment when he
Oh,
will leave.
cool. When he shows it at Bump.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I was not there at this moment because I was still in the train going to the festival.
Uh-huh.
So I missed the first time they played it, but at the end of the festival they played it again.
That's great. Yeah, your process is awesome. It's really nice to see something so atypical and to be able to actually show the human side of it, you know, which people rarely do in their work. The only thing I would say is just to make it a little bit more concise and be able to show a little bit more of the process. You know, it would have been cool to see your lighting setup necessarily and to see you in there with the little camera. But again, it's very cool that you were able to like include your first text from it. You know, I've never seen that done before, and that's actually kind of genius.
Nice.
So
really great work.
I'm going to let Jake pick the next one.
Let's see. I noticed. Which one would you rather do?
The
This
Alhambra,
one?
yeah.
Okay, let's watch it.
So cool.
Yeah, this one caught my eye in your reel.
Amazing.
So again, there is sound.
So tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so this was for opening of a new, how we call that, a new place to make shows in my hometown. And
Very
at this
cool.
time I was working with two friends, and we made it. They asked us, they just gave us the sound, the music, and we made all the sound designs too.
Wow.
And yeah, this is the logo. Actually, this is the logo of the place, and we had to play with it. The little how you call that?
Oh, squirt gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
I don't know why I knew that, but you're like this. I'm like, yes.
It was because there was a painting inside of the room, so we had to.
It kind of seemed like that might have been the effect. That's really cool with the watercolor feel. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Okay, well now that just begs the question that we have to go see this one.
Yeah, I
because
want
we
to
saw
see that one.
So this one was for friends that started a YouTube channel, and they wanted to make some episodes about movies. So yeah, it means
Shiny story, bro.
exactly. Yeah, this is the name of the
That's awesome.
the YouTube channel. So it means we redo the movie.
Yeah.
Kind of. So yeah,
That's
it's in
super
loop.
cool.
It's really great.
And I made it, I think, in one night.
Nice.
It was easy,
Wow.
but
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't.
Yeah, but it works.
Exactly. It's about the outcome. You know?
I have a little
So
time
good.
lapse on.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Can we-
cool.
can we
Yeah. See?
That's
Time
great.
lapse,
Yeah,
man. I'm
yeah.
trying to get Jake
That's
to do
exactly
some time
what it
lapse.
should
I
be.
mean, I've been on him all day about this.
Maybe it's kind of a bit long, but
Yes,
yeah,
no, this is
all right.
great.
No, this is
You're
awesome.
kidding me? I mean, I love seeing process. It's so interesting to see how other people think, and it inspires.
Yeah. It's so important for
cool.
clients too, you know, to be
Yeah.
able to realize that you can work so quickly, you know, and be able to come up with such a smart solution for something that
Yeah.
you know you can handle. You know, that's unbeatable.
yeah. Okay,
So great.
we can skip a little bit.
We're like, no, it's too cool. Don't skip
Oh,
it.
this is great. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, actually, I was trying to make it to make the light pass through, but it was hard to do.
Of
At
course.
the end, I had to redo the.
No,
So
it's
good.
great that you practice so much practicality in your work. You know, it's like it's so
Yeah.
rare for motion designers and, you know, a lot of digital artists, you know, to be able to look at things like this and think filmically. And, you know, it's like that's one of the best things that I preach for 3D is like to think about it like a real set and practically. So the fact that you're actually doing this is like, it's brilliant, man.
It's very cool to see it in context, too.
Yeah.
It's almost as though this is just as powerful as the output itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm really loving the process.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Last, I tried to make some little lens flares,
Oh, did you make these
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah.
Those are
Oh,
great. Yeah, those
super.
are awesome.
and actually, I put them on the Adobe stock, so now you can.
Oh,
buy them.
wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so
and
great.
I already had some.
That's
someone
amazing.
buy it.
That's awesome. I love it.
So yeah, this is the setup.
That's great.
This one was not a 5D; it was just my my old. Yeah,
Oh,
so
killer. You lens
So
whacking. That's
cool.
awesome. That's beautiful
very
work, man.
cool. So any motion designer, we want to stay in title?
Let's stay in style.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll stay until you're like, listen, this is where I'm headed. Awesome. I'm curious, what is this?
Oh, this one was actually it was for the OFF festival.
Oh, no
in
way.
2012.
Oh, wow.
How cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look. Cool.
Yeah, and I was working with the Jelly Cube. We were a little studio. So we made some bumpers. So this was just the little videos you can see announcing the name of the next speaker.
Oh,
cool.
nice.
So each speaker had its own
Adobe.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
And
cool.
there is 15 different, 20 different.
So
That's
funny.
awesome.
Oh,
This one
man.
is kind of gross.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
so
great.
gross. I love it.
And we put things inside of
Practical effects.
fish tank with
Oh, perfect.
with
man.
sparkling
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, the rack focus and everything. That's crazy.
Actually, it was almost one of our first work.
It's good and gross. I really like it.
Yeah, and your colors consistently.
Yes,
Everything's
they're
so well
beautiful.
balanced, and I mean, it really shows that you have
Really.
like a good taste and that kind of stuff. And that's what it really boils down to a lot of the time is just generally taste, like what
Yep.
you naturally go for, you know. And you have a very broad, appealing style that it's really franchisable. You know, it's like
Oh,
easy to
cool.
use this stuff in a lot of different commercial application.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
this
really
was-
long, so there is 20 of
Oh,
them.
wow.
So
You're like, this could go on for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah,
really
If there's
striking
anyone in
stuff.
there that you love the most, let's look. Oh, that's
the
pretty
Jelly
cool.
Cube,
Yeah,
Jelly
that's
Cube
pretty
one.
cool.
yeah.
Well, you've got a lot of fans out there
Yeah,
now,
as
so
you
Flo,
should.
just get ready for it. Yeah, you're like, hi, hello to my
Mom.
new friends. Hi, Mom. Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
My girlfriend.
Yeah. Amazing.
that's
well, this is awesome, Flo.
Yeah,
Thank you so
amazing
much
stuff.
for coming
Yeah.
on and
Thanks,
for
buddy.
showing us
Yeah.
your work. And we have one more portfolio to review, so I am going to pull that up. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Wonderful.
buddy. Take it easy.
Yeah,
Enjoy
keep
the
up the
festival.
awesome work. That was really cool.
That was killer.
I
yeah.
know.
No, having
Amazing.
something so original and different, you know, it's like that's an amazing
Completely.
way to brand yourself. And I mean, just like as a lesson for that, like that's incredible that somebody can find something so atypical, you know, and
I
even just like an
know.
old style of doing something and still being able to refine it, you
So
know.
awesome and wild.
Really amazing.
So I think if we could just focus on this screen for a second, I'm going to look back and make sure that we've got all the cookies done. Okay. All right. So we have Boda Motion. This is a pretty amazing portfolio. I'm really excited about showing some of these and getting your feedback. All right. So before I hop in, yes, let's do it.
VFX and
Ricardo
motion
Gambi.
design.
For Boda Motion.
Nice.
Oh, oh, ah.
Wow.
It's kind of like watching a movie right now. Oh,
I think
wow.
we are watching a movie.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot going on. Ricardo, there you are. Hi. He's like, thanks for picking me.
Oh,
We're
man.
so excited.
It's
this
amazing
is so
stuff.
Amazing.
You have some amazing
Whoa.
clients. Like,
Again, popcorn. Love it. This is so crazy.
some complicated stuff. you're doing.
Yeah,
Like, this
really
is
complicated.
Really impressive. I take it you're a nuke artist? Yeah?
Are you a nuke artist, Ricardo? And tell us more about some of your clients. This is insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really incredible stuff.
Yeah, like what Tim said. Nicely done, dude. Wow.
It's awesome.
I'm just so impressed. I feel like I'm at the movies.
Really awesome. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know what I can say here.
I
I mean,
don't-
this is
I'm
like really
I'm
next
I'm
level
in awe.
stuff. Yeah.
I know. Oh, the journey of a leaf. Oh. So cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I
You must
love
be
the
very
Muppets.
patient.
Yeah.
Very, very patient to get through all this. It's just really
Wow.
striking, amazing stuff. Like,
Yeah,
it's-
Ricardo, this is incredible. He says, nuke and visual effects are the core of my skills. Have a look at the motion design reel. If you can."
Absolutely.
Yes, we will. Of
Yeah,
course.
there's not much I can say about the VFX. It's
I
so
mean,
beautiful.
amazing.
You clearly know what you're doing.
All right, let's check this out. Get ready to be wowed. Wow. Already. Wow.
It's amazing how different it is.
Yeah, it's so wild.
It's so rare that you meet somebody that can do something so real and detail-oriented, but then do something so artistic and expressive. Really amazing skill set.
So cool. Oh,
that's awesome.
That's really awesome. Wow. Oh, I love these. I'm like, I get these.
Yeah.
I get what he did here.
Yeah. Really awesome. It's great that you're branching out so much. You know, it's like typically when I meet like all-star VFX artists, you know, they stay all-star VFX artists and they never really venture out into anywhere else. But it's cool to see you so boldly go into a completely different field. And I mean, people not in the industry, they think of the two as being very similar, but it's just a completely different set of principles, you know, and the fact that you're able to do both simultaneously is, and also leverage your strengths for VFX and be able to bring those into motion design. It's incredibly rare.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell that you're booked all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really awesome stuff.
All so well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my only biggest thing I would say to take a typography class, not for typography even, but just for compositional use case. You know, I suck at type, but I love type classes because they show you how to be extremely concise with your designs. You know, the perfect design is something that you can't add to and that you can't take away from, you know, so you have to find that perfect moment to stop, you know, and not to overdo or to go too far out, and then to be able to think only with the very few ingredients that you need in order to communicate what you're trying to say. You know, and that took me forever to learn. And I still am learning that every single day, and that I think is what separates the best designers you know, from the others, is they're able to think like that and think in such minimalism. And I know because of my love for VFX, it's very, very hard for me to do, because my solution to everything is just slap more layers onto it, is to make it so complex and crazy that you're forced to take it in as something other than that. But if you're going strictly for design and commercial work like that, it's important to be able to be concise, you know, but that would be my only advice. Otherwise, fucking all-star. Like, it's beautiful stuff.
It's beautiful. I had to play this again. I think the reels, he has 2 major reels on his site, but there was so much content in both of them that I felt like we needed to go through it one more time.
Yeah, I can't get over the clients.
Probably both of them.
It's amazing.
It's insane. Wow. Oh, he even said typography is the field that he's studying now.
Exactly.
I mean,
no, that's great.
So kismet.
Yeah.
Meant to be, Ricardo.
It's amazing.
Wow,
it's
yes.
Really good stuff.
Yes.
I wish I had more to say. This is just
I know,
so
right?
incredible.
Wow. What an enormous body of work. Ricardo must be in his 80s. He's just extremely talented, right, Ricardo? You've been doing this
hundreds of years old.
Hundreds of years.
Yes. Something?
Oh, yes. Do you think it's a good idea to make a fake title sequence to score a gig in the field?
Absolutely. Make 100.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's no
Why
shortage
not?
of titles. You know, it's like pick your favorite movie, pick a title sequence that's already done that you think you can do better. You know,
and especially,
and
if it's something that you're really interested in getting into but haven't done before.
Yeah, and if it's just for you, if you're not making any money of it, you know, it's free game. You know, it's all self-promotion. You know, you don't have to worry about any liability or anything like that.
Exactly.
If your favorite movie, anything, you know, just sit in there and do it, you know, and don't worry about anything like that. And make it personal, you know. It's like, take it as an opportunity to realize that you're not dealing with the client and you can make very crazy decisions, you know, and do very atypical things.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is just great. I kind of want to go through let's go through the motion graphics reel one more time. Because now that we know that he's doing type, maybe there's even some. Yeah, no, I mean
the type that's in there is great. Yeah, it's really, really awesome stuff.
Incredible, incroyable. Wow. Now I want to go back and look through all of these sequences and know what each one of these clients had done.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be something that would be cool to have on your site, to talk through the clients and what you did for each of them. Like, was it both the filming? Was it the type and the graphics? Was it, you know, the art direction? Like, just how detailed did you get, and what was your role on each specific project? Was it concept all the way through to final product? I think some of that would be cool
absolutely.
to know.
Yeah.
Oh, he said he tried to recreate the Twin Peaks title. You can see a shot in there.
Oh,
Amazing.
cool.
I love Twin Peaks.
Yeah, no, that's great. But that's what I'm talking about. You know, picking
Yeah.
something classic that never had a good title, you know, or something that can have a much better title, you know. So like
this one, The Cliffs of Moher.
That's awesome.
I love that. Yeah, total Twin Peaks. I wondered why that looked so familiar. I was like, I think I've seen this, but it looks old.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of old content that has some amazing timeless concepts.
Yes.
Like a Matrix title would be killer.
Totally.
You know, a Donnie Darko title would be killer. There's so many enriched ideas that can be brought into symbology, and that's like the best way to practice
Name a few
title.
more. Everyone's out there typing. They're like, what else do we want to do?
I don't know. There's so many, you know. It's like everything from like Old Boy to I don't know.
That was pretty awesome. I
great.
mean, really amazing job.
Yeah,
So
killer stuff.
I'm really curious though, like Ricardo, how do you go about getting your clients, and what is it to see the full list and feed to follow quick? Okay, so yeah, I think we need to bring Ricardo to live.
Absolutely, it sounds like he has a lot to say.
Chris Bernay's out there.
Oh, awesome.
He was also on live just about a few weeks ago.
Nice.
It was amazing. Well, I am just really impressed. And yes, yours like some killer works.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. You can follow him on Instagram or just check out his portfolio at bodamotion.com, which it seems like he's got plenty of clients going on right now, but everyone can use more. So good.
Yeah,
we have about a few more minutes here to wrap up, and I'm kind of want to pick your brain now and talk through some of the process and like what you're most excited about Off Tomorrow for the title sequence.
I'm excited for everybody to see it. You know, it's like it's been so under wraps, and it's just been such a quick, crazy process. You know, I'm just excited to hear it and to see it and to get people's reactions. I'm so desensitized to it because I've seen
well, that's
it from
the
the
thing.
ground
Like,
up,
you probably
you know.
aren't thinking through all the things that you might want to tell
Yeah, exactly.
people.
Yeah, I mean, 2.5.
Yeah.
And like 2.5 months ago, it was just like some loose drawings. You know, so being able to see that, and we had like a whole live action shoot. Like we did a ton of CG.
Cool. Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
I mean, it was there was no money behind it, so I had to call in every single favor I had.
Oh man, you used all your favor
I used
calls?
every favor.
Oh, that's the worst. I mean, it's the best because you have them, but then you're like, now I don't have any.
But the prestige at the time, I didn't have to twist anybody's arm.
That's great.
Everybody was so interested just because they knew what off is. They knew how important it was. They knew the gravity of the titles, and of course that added like a
little cachet. You know, it's just for off.
Yeah, but it's just like it makes it
Barcelona.
so much heavier. You know, it's like you have to excel. You know, you have to keep up with all the titles, the amazing titles that have come out, and like not only that, but I mean the speakers here and everything. It is just like such an amazing conference that I know everybody looks forward to. So the pressure was so real for that.
It was very, very high pressure.
And it was just it was a dead sprint from the first second that we got it until we finished.
Amazing. But a 2-day live action shoot followed by
a ton of CG. A ton of compositing,
just
a ton
in
of
a
keying.
black room.
No, it was a like 50-foot cube of green, basically. And I mean, we had our whole crew and everything. We had a bunch of motion control setups. It was interesting because like our piece revolves around Gemini, so it features these two twins, which is the same actress. So we had to shoot her twice. You know,
everything had to be done twice.
Yeah, so all the motion controls were set up correctly, and we would put her in one place, shoot her, put her in another, shoot it, and then put it together.
Crazy.
And match it with the CG. And
I always wonder how they do that in movies where they're like featuring twins. And it's like split screen or something.
Yeah, it's all just really heavy motion control. And
man.
Yeah, it was good. It was it was really intense, you know, and we spent about a month and a half of our 2 months on or 2.5 months on concept, you know, and pre-pro. And we didn't do our shoot until the middle of April, and we didn't really start our CG until the very last week of April. And then into May. So it was like 4 minutes of like full CG. It was just a dead sprint.
If you guys are like listening, this is insane. I mean, like,
yeah, nobody slept.
That sounds like panic or
no,
like a heart
was.
attack.
I'm
sure
really
you
was.
were like, I've had so much coffee in the past 3 weeks.
Oh, it's been crazy. This vacation was much needed. But
you deserve some tapas for sure.
No, it's been incredible, you know. And I had a co-director, and it was my buddy Heebok Lee, and he's a legend. You know, even when I was in school, I looked at his work. I'm like, that's what I want to do. Like, this
Yeah.
is the guy. And he and I were rebranding FX at the time. And I got this phone call in the morning, and I'm just like, oh my God, let me call you back. Let me call you back in 5 minutes. And I called him immediately, and I'm like, man, please co-direct this with me. Like, I know it'll be great. I know it. Like, we can just do it. And he's like, yes, done. Let's do it.
Thank goodness,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and he was able to get his company to invest in it, which was incredible. GIANTSTEP in Korea.
So
they
cool.
They were amazing. They did so much of it. They were able to invest in our shoot. They were able to throw departments of artists at it. So, I mean, it was incredible.
Well, I think this was totally amazing, and Jake Ferguson is amazing. So we're so lucky to have you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. No, it's great. Yeah,
little
thank
high five
you.
action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, love getting a high five. Thanks so much. Keep watching. We've got more people coming up. Henry Dubreeze is going to be here from Dog Studio in just a minute.
Cool. Thank you.
Bye.